You want to see a good movie? See Gran Turismo. And I think so. I didn't know this is a true story. I've never played Gran Turismo on PlayStation. I've never played the game. So apparently, the game is realistic. The feeling of it, the sound design, what it looks like, supposedly is like real racing. So I hadn't played it. I saw the trailer, but the trailer didn't really move me to want to see it, honestly, because it just wasn't up my alley. But as a sports film, I was fascinated by it. After seeing this film, David Harbour is my favorite. I love him. He was funny. The first act was a little slow and it felt too familiar with the sappiness and the typical beats of, a son who wants to do his own thing, but his parents have their own idea of what his life should look like because he's getting older and it's time for him to grow up. And he's a gamer. He is interested in writing for real, and he's really good at it. And he has something to prove to himself that he's not a quitter, and to his parents that he deserves to live the life that he wants to live. It's that whole typical hero's journey of proving himself and his parents wrong, really. So we've seen that 1,000 times, sure. But it's more than that. It really did remind me of Top Gun Maverick. Now, of course, it's not as good as Top Gun Maverick, but in its own way, it's very good. It has really hip, a really hip style to it, because a lot of the scenes, or many of the scenes, I'll say, not a lot, not the majority of the film, but there are sections of the film where you feel like you're in the cockpit of one of these race cars, that you're in the front seat riding along with them. It is developed in this way where you feel like you're in the cockpit with the driver. I saw this in Dolby also, so it was very immersive in that way. You can hear the engine, you can feel the tires gripping to the road. It was very immersive. If you're going to see it, I recommend you see it in that environment, that experience with the either Dolby or IMAX, because it was a good experience seeing it in Dolby. And the performances are great. They're familiar faces. You got Orlando Bloom, Jerry Hollowell from Spice Girls. You've got Jaimin Hansu and David Harbour. And I gotta say, David Harbour is becoming one of my favorite actors. He was really good in this film. He gave it heart, and I liked the fire that he brought to this film, because as a mentor, that could be written so by the numbers, and I think he elevated in a way that was not just charming and realistic, but you weren't just rooting for the protagonist, you were rooting for the mentor too. And so I liked what he brought, the depth that David Harbour brought to this film. I wasn't very familiar with the young actor who plays the protagonist, Archie Madekwe. I wasn't familiar with his work, but I think this couldn't have worked without him. He really he delivered a really great performance. It was layered. Again, it gets soapy in a few scenes because, you know, there there's always this beat when you have to prove your parents wrong, and then it gets sappy because his father, played by Jaimin Hansu, finally comes around, and there's that one scene where it just gets too desserty. So there was that, but everywhere else, it really did. He really did a great job. It was a really great performance. So I think this is a good movie. Now listen, in this climate where people are diligent about what they're going to see in the movies, because you know it's a whole day affair, this could be $100 night, I would recommend this film. It is like Top Gun Maverick in a way. Now, this is a sports movie, so you're going to have all of the sports beats, meaning you're going to have the beats where there's the workout montage, the conditioning montage. You're going to have that. You're going to have the losses and the huge win, the upsets, the pitfalls, the drawbacks, the setbacks. You're going to have that, and then the journey to winning. That's all there. But what makes this special is the editing and the sound and how you feel like you're in the car with the protagonist. And I like how they designed the transitions. I think it elevates the film in a way that brings more value to the story. All put together, I think it's a great movie. This is one of my favorites of the year. It has rewatchability too. So in this, like, the landscape of August is looking very drab. I would see this film again because we're gonna have like a week or two, where really nothing's gonna be in the movies that's good. So there's a big block of time in August where we're probably, if we're going to be going to the movies again, we're probably going to see things that we have already seen, like Barbie and Oppenheimer. I think this is one of the ones that I would see twice. So I'm going to see this again because I really do like the hero's journey. I think it has a good payoff. The performances are great. The music was really good. It's funny. There's an ongoing joke that doesn't get tiring or that doesn't get old. It's funny. I recommend this film, and I don't think that you have to be into race car driving or even into the game Gran Turismo to really like it. I think you can like it aside from that, isolated from having never played the game. I didn't. I like this film because it has the journey and the payoff that is worth watching and worth rooting for. Now, this film was pushed back. So, and I don't know why, because maybe they didn't believe in it, but this is actually a really good movie. Maybe they didn't believe that it should be between Meg 2 and Blue Beetle. I would see this instead of the other two movies. I've saw Meg 2, The Trench. That's not good. And I'm probably not going to see Blue Beetle. I'm not interested. I might see it to support because it's a predominantly Hispanic cast. But if I had my choice of the three, it would be this one. I would see this again because it really is worth it. At any rate, Gran Turismo will be in theaters this weekend.